Hi guys, and welcome to another review of Cobra Kai. I'm talking about season 3 this time. Definitely a great season. I actually enjoyed it more than the second season, which even though like that last scene, the school fight, I don't think that will ever be beaten. No, that's one thing though. Yeah, because I don't think. Well, when it comes to ranking everything, like every fight scene in the whole Karate Kid universe, like the first All Valley tournament is always going to be number one for me. But yeah, the school fight is definitely going to be like second place. But yeah, so yeah, this continues after that huge school fight that took place in at the ending of season 2, and man, a lot of bad things happened afterwards. Apart from well, including what happened to Miguel, ended up in a wheelchair and stuff. So for most of the season, like we're not really getting to see him in action, sadly. And there is another cast member who's missing as well. Well, there's actually several, but yeah, Aisha's like the one that I missed the most though. Man, it sucks. She wasn't in season 3, man. Basically after that huge scone fight that she took part in, I guess she was written off or something. I don't really know the true reason why she was written off. I might need to look into that. But yeah, Aisha, like I kind of debate like if she's my favorite character as well, because it's hard to say who's truly my favorite character in Cobra Kai series because there's so many great characters. Yeah, she's definitely one of my favorites, and it sucks that she wasn't in this season. But man, they still carried like did good stuff with this season though, even though it kind of started off a bit slow. And this is like Netflix kind of taking over the show as well, because this was a YouTube premium kind of show, like for the first 2 seasons. But then going into season 3, that kind of changed since Netflix got control of it. I also hope that we still get another season after this one, because I'm really enjoying the show. But yeah, I'm just gonna get to the story now, because I don't want this review to be too long. So basically, after the events of the Skun fight, basically karate, I think the All Valley tournament. Well, karate was viewed as a bad thing, and so they cancelled the All Valley tournament. Because a lot of parents were, complaining about what happened, and Miyagi Miyagi Dojo was the one who got, I guess, the biggest blame. So man, seeing Daniel in the bad light, like everyone's seeing Daniel in the bad light, that was kind of messed up. Johnny kind of took things hard as well. If I happened to Miguel, like he got rid of his phone, and I forgot to mention, in my season 2 review that Ali Mills was actually, phoning him at the end, because like he actually tried to contact Ali Mills, the basically the first girlfriend in the first Karate Kid movie, who Daniel and Johnny, had, but they kind of was fighting over it and kind of started the whole rivalry between them two. Yeah, yeah, she was a big part of this season. Even characters from part 2 of Karate Kid were in this season as well, and man, they're definitely like my favorite parts of the season, easily. Definitely the highlight of the season, seeing those characters again, because I'm a big fan of part 2, Karate Kid part 2, and it was cool to see those characters again. Which I'm talking about Kimiko and Jozen. Like it was cool to see them again. I was thinking like, oh man, is Chosen gonna try kill Daniel and stuff? Yeah, just this season has so many great things about it that made it better than season 2 for me. But man, they won't be able to beat that school fight, because there was a big fight at the end of season 3. But yeah, it's not beating season two's fight. It was still cool to see, but yeah, it's not beating that. Okay, so some of the other characters. So Tori, yeah, well, I'm still not really a big fan of Tori. They try to make us, feel sad for her with, how her life is and stuff. But and John Creeves actually, tries to look out for her more by actually going to where she lives and stuff, and trying to work things out for her, so she can still do karate, because she's trying to do things at home where she has to work in multiple places for a certain family member. But it's just basically hard for her to still do kawaii at the same time. But I guess John Kreese was there for her, because he sees potential in her. Yeah, Hawk. I guess for most of the season, I'm still not a big fan of him. I do like when he's fighting and stuff. Like he definitely has some of the best fighting scenes. But man, it's hard to like his character. But then you can kind of tell like it's getting to a point where, is this really me? Like, have I really become this bad of a bully? I've become worse than the people that I was trying to fight against, because Johnny, was his original teacher, but then he kind of betrays him at the end. and he kind of blames Johnny for what happened to Miguel. So he just decided to side with John Creeves, and that just made him a lot worse. But I'm just happy by the end he makes the right choice and joins, Johnny's new dojo. The what's it called again? Oh my god, it's a bad name anyway. But yeah, I'm just happy that Hawk joins back with Dimitri and stuff, so they're friends again. Thank God, because I did miss them two together. Oh yeah, the Miguel and Johnny storyline. That's like my second favorite storyline in this season. Like Johnny helping Miguel recover, and the mom, Miguel's mother, like she really appreciates doing that because I was thinking like after what happened to Miguel, she was gonna be mad, and she was, and it took her a while, to get over it, and decided like maybe Johnny wasn't to blame and karate, because he even gets to a point where that they start to have feelings for each other. So yeah, things like very like changed to unexpectedly for me with their relationship, like Miguel's mum and Johnny, since they actually get together by the end. So yeah, because he does help Miguel so much. He even sells his car and everything, like that beast car that he had. Man, he's more there for Miguel than for Wobby. Which Wobby was the one who kicked Miguel off the school floor and messed up his legs in the first place. He did try, but Johnny didn't. Not Johnny, sorry. Wobby didn't want anything to do with his father or with Daniel because Oh yeah. So I just need to explain what happens with Wobby in this season. So basically, Wobby kind of runs away, and for the first time, Johnny and Daniel team up together to find him. They do find a lead with because Wobby kind of stole a car. Also, there's like a character who returns, Daniel's cousin, who I'm not really a big fan of anyway. Yeah, he kind of tells them that one of the cars are missing, and then they follow that lead, and then you just find this guy who has the car, but then he tries to get away in the car, then they just follow him. Then they end up in this garage. They end up getting in a fight with the people in this garage. Johnny's beating someone to death, and Daniel stops him. Man. And then they go to this place where I guess Johnny's wife is, which she went into recovery afterwards. Like she just wasn't really happy with how things were going with her life. So they end up going there, and they actually find Wobby there. Yeah, but it's not like he wants to turn himself in. But then Daniel kind of makes that happen, and Wobby's not really happy with that, and that's the point where he doesn't really trust Daniel anymore. Because he basically ends up in like juvie or something, and Wobby gets into a few fights with people there who just don't like him for some reason. It gets pretty bad, man. And Daniel's trying to visit him, but he's just not accepting him. Like he at least gives his dad a chance, but then I don't know, his dad misses one day, and then he just doesn't want to see him as well. But yeah, like Wobby gets it pretty rough in prison. But he eventually steps up and takes out them guys who are bullying him in prison. But yeah, those scenes were hard to watch for him. Cause man, his life went up, cause his life was already downhill when we first met him. Then it went up with Daniel, then it just went back down, which kind of sucks for his character. Yeah, it just sucks that John Creeves is the one who looks after him near the end and stuff. Like, and then he sides with John Creeves by the end. Like, man, the worst person to side with. And what else? Well, I guess Tori and Samantha still have like a rivalry, and it even gets to a point where, because Tori does blame everything that happened to Miguel, and in a way, it's kind of true. Like kissing Miguel, and basically Tori seeing it, and just everything with the gun fight, it's kind of Samantha's fault, but I wouldn't blame all of it on her. Yeah, but yeah, things got pretty out of hand. Because even Moppy got expelled as well, which sucks. Yeah. Well, obviously. And that's when he started to run away and stuff. But yeah. just a lot of things went wrong from that school fight. Like just so many things. Like I wasn't expecting so many things to go wrong, man. And then it gets to a point later on where Daniel and Johnny are trying to, even John Creeves are trying to save the All Valley tournament since it gets cancelled. But first, before I go to that, like I just need to address the other things as well. Because because Miguel's gets to a point where he starts to recover thanks to Johnny. Because he was like taking him to concerts. He started to make his feet move from the music and stuff. He was just doing a lot of things to help out Miguel. Johnny was, and that's that because Johnny is trying to be a better person this season, a lot better, and they kind of do it in a way where I guess I'm fine with that because season 2 he was making mistakes of how he was changing, but in season 3 he does a better job with the person that he's changing into while still being a badass. Still the same Johnny that we know and love. So I think they handle that much better in season 3 than season 2, where he is trying to be nicer, but then he's kind of making mistakes at the same time because he's not really perfect at being nice. Yeah, they just kind of handle that storyline better in season 3 than season 2. And what else? Oh yeah, the stuff that happened with Samantha, because Tori and Cobra Kai are just hunting her throughout the season. Like they even bothering people at their work and stuff, like who are part of Miyagi Dojo. It just gets really bad. So Samantha wants to fight back, and they end up finding this place to fight him at. But then they get brutally beat up. Dimitri's a part of it as well, and he gets his arm broken. Like, and it gets to a point where Samantha gets pretty scared, and she's basically like in because they kind of use like a storyline from I guess the Karate Kid Part 3, where Daniel just gets so much fear and he just can't do anything, like he's frozen. That's basically what happens to Samantha when she's fighting Tori, and they basically just get demolished. And like I said, Dimitri gets his arm broken. That was pretty bad. Damn. And after that, Daniel and Amanda tried to do something about it, but then John Creeves put a restraining order on him. Or was it the wife? Because the wife, like after she found out what happened, went over to Cobra Kai and basically hit John Creeves, and then that's when he did the restraining order because that's what they tried to do on him. Yeah, it was so sly. And to settle things, they wanted to do something in the All Valley, but then it got cancelled because of all the trouble that Kawhi's caused, and Maggie getting kind of a bad name for it. Yeah. But then, like when it gets to a point where Miguel gets better, I guess him and Samantha basically go to court and kind of explain why Kawhi isn't really a bad thing, and they kind of put their voice out there, and then because the people like Johnny, Daniel, and John kind of were arguing a lot of the time, so it was getting to a point where they was just gonna like not really let All Valley come back, but then Samantha and Miguel kind of said the right words to give this tournament another chance. And without them together, which their relationship kind of builds back up in this season, at a kind of an awkward time, and even Robbie sees it, and that just makes things worse. Yeah, man, because he's just seen everything getting taken away from him. Like Miguel stole his dad, his girlfriend, even though it was Miguel's verse. Like when he gets out of juvie, yeah, he just yeah, he doesn't want to side with any one of these people. And that's when he goes to John Creeves, and to me that's like a big mistake that he made, and he might regret it like in season 4. And I wonder if season 4 is going to be the last season. I don't know if it's going to be a season 4, but is it going to be the last season though? But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And what else is there? Well, so yeah, some of the wait, was it? Yeah, because some of the Cobra Kai members, they do get kicked out because John Creeves views them as weak and kind of recruits some new members. One of them being like an old buddy of Miguel's, if you remember that Asian guy. Yeah, he kind of joins Cobra Kai, and they kind of take some of these new people kind of take some of the spots from the current Cobra Kai members, so they get kicked out. But then Johnny kind of lets them into the new dojo that he's making, which he doesn't really have a dojo. He's kind of like outside because he kind of sold a lot of his stuff for Miguel for his operation and stuff. And there was that fundraiser thing that was going on from Miyagi Dojo, which Cobra Kai tried to ruin. Yeah, and that's why they ended up trying to fight him. But then I already said what happened. But yeah, so like I said, what is it called again? It's the Eagle Fans or something. Like it's just an awful name, basically. But at least he's trying to be better and have a better, you know, dojo than what Cobra Kai was. Because he wasn't really happy with how things turned out with Cobra Kai, and he's trying to make a better dojo. And it does eventually get to a point where these Eagle fans, whatever I should call them, and like a dojo try to make a truce, but it seems like things are not really going to work out with them because 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 I think was it Samantha who because we do get to see Daniel and Samantha having a bonding moment, even though she's not really because Daniel's just trying to be there for her and trying to get her out of this fear that she has for Tori and stuff because Daniel's been there and they kind of show a flashback to that as well. Because man, that was a intense moment for Daniel in Karate Kid Part 3 when that guy who is fighting at the All Valley tournament just saying how much his mentor's like nothing and yeah, just he was destroying Daniel, man. but then Miyagi kind of made him focus, which was what he really needed, and he was able to recover and beat his opponent and win the All Valley tournament for the second time. And that's basically what he's doing for his daughter. So she's able to recover, even though she kind of hesitates when she sees Tori again when, because basically they try to, like I said, they try to make a truce, but at Daniel's house, of all places. But then the Cobra Kai's come there, and then that's when a huge fight happens, and then Tori's trying to fight Samantha, but then she starts to freeze up again, but she's able to put up more of a fight this time. And then Hawk's there, like, beating up everyone. But then at the last minute, he decides to make the right choice from all the lessons that he's learned from all of his senseis. But I guess Johnny's words, like, hit the most, and then that's when he decides to betray Cobra Kai and, side with the Eagle Claws or whatever I should call them. I keep saying that low because they just have such a weird name. I feel sorry for Johnny's name right now. And yeah, basically do the Eagle Claws and Miyagi Dojo basically work together after this because they basically defeat Cobra Kai. And then they just back off. And then, Daniel and Amanda find out and everything, yeah. That's when Daniel goes over to John Creeves' place. Johnny finds out what happened to Miguel because he got beat up, pretty bad there. So then he goes to John Creeves' place as well. So both of them go to fight John Creeves, and man, I'm just kind of talking about this part like early, but I'm just gonna do it, and then I'll just quickly talk about the extra parts, like the special parts anyway, the extra stuff. Because I'm just talking about the main story. Because there is some other stuff that happened with Daniel and his business, and then something important for Johnny mostly, I'd say. But I'm just going to talk about them after this stuff anyway. Because I forgot to say that John Creeves actually had like the origin story for how he basically came up with Cobra Kai and what he actually happened in his life. So basically, he was working in some restaurant or something, and he just saw a girl was getting treated badly, so he basically steps up for her because people just walked over him, so he decided not to be walked over anymore and actually fights against them. And then he gets like a girlfriend after that fight somehow, someone that he cares about. But then he decides to go into, I guess, war, and it kind of makes him more of a man, even though he kind of makes some of the one decisions and kind of lets his guard down. And there was a moment where I guess his boss kind of finds out that his girlfriend passed away, but he decides not to tell him because he'd think that would kind of mess him up while he's going into war. But then things do kind of mess up anyway when he shows mercy, which that's where it kind of all starts from. Because there was a moment where he showed mercy to his enemy, and that cost like one of his people, one of his comrades, their life. And then like they kind of all get ambushed and everything. Like just it gets bad. So he feels like he's to blame for that situation and everything that happened. and that's when he never wants to show mercy ever again. And then like I guess in the last episode we kind of see, because at this point they're trapped by the people who got him, and have to fight to the death, like between his own, like he basically has to fight his own comrades, including his commander. And then he kind of finds out that his commander actually was just saying that, because he basically tells him at the last minute when he has to fight his commander that his girlfriend is actually dead. He was just like lying to him and stuff, because he was saying that his girlfriend's fine and stuff, but then at the end when he has to fight him, like he was just lying to him, and then that he's saying that because at this point it's like it's survival of the fittest, and the way Harry who was saying things about how this is all his fault, like this is a fight that he didn't want to lose, even though his girlfriend was dead. It still changed him, and he wanted to take something from this experience and then create his own dojo. Which, at the end, reinforcements do come and save Johnny and his men. I mean, John and his men. But then there's even a moment where, oh yeah, because there was this pit what they're fighting again, fighting in, where he fights his comrades, because he's forced to because of the enemies that are holding him captive. Sorry, I can't talk properly right now. Sorry, because that's where they're being held captive, and then like this is kind of where they get the Cobra idea from. Well, where John gets the Cobra idea from, basically, in the pit that they fall in. It's basically like Cobra's in it,